Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Tuesday Live. Today, we're going to talk about 3 ways to speak up with more confidence. And this is a topic that is near and dear to my heart because if I'm being honest, I'm actually leaving after this to go speak at a women's leadership conference here in town. And I still get nervous. Like, I don't want you to think that I don't get nervous. I still get nervous when I speak, and it's totally normal. So if you're here, give me a like or a heart or just say yes that you get nervous too, because I think that sometimes people think that when you've done this a long time, you don't get nervous, and you do, you still get nervous. And, that really leads into one of the first things that I wanted to talk about, which is, why do we stay silent when we have so many opportunities to speak up? And I think a lot of it does come from nerves. It comes from second guessing. It comes from doubt. It comes from, at least me personally, I always have all these things where I'm like, okay, what if I say something and people think it's stupid? Or, they finally find out that I'm unqualified and I shouldn't be talking about this and I'll be exposed. Just in my getting ready to go and speak at this conference, I have my slides printed out that I've presented a million times before, and I've got my notes, and I'm still nervous, right? Because we still have those feelings. And, a lot of that just does come from healthy levels of doubt. I think sometimes the biggest misnomer or the biggest misconception that people have is that when people speak up, and maybe people like myself who are on stage a lot or have spent many years in training, I think sometimes they think that we don't ever feel doubt, and we do. We do, I promise you. I've got butterflies right now. It's just that, you have to learn how to show up and speak up and say what you need to say while also feeling very healthy, normal levels of doubt. And so, presentations are just one thing that come up where I think a lot of folks feel nervous or doubtful, and they're just not sure how to speak up. But lots of other times, I think it's really hard to speak up to when we need to have a hard conversation. And sometimes this hard conversation includes giving someone feedback that is going to maybe be hard to hear, right? And I think with the best of our intentions, we don't want to hurt people's feelings, right? I think the other times that it's hard to speak up, I know for me personally, was when I would make a career change. And I just felt so overwhelmed and kind of stupid because people were having all these conversations and I didn't know what they were talking about. In fact, I remember I had been at a company for 12 years and I went and changed careers. And in my first few weeks on the job, I had never felt so dumb in my entire life because I was sitting in these rooms. I was working for a healthcare company, and it was like a healthcare technology organization. And to be honest, they could have been mixing a script of The Office and Grey's Anatomy just to punk me, and I never would have known the difference because I just had no idea. So tell me if that's ever happened to you. Give me a heart or or tell me, have you ever switched jobs and been really hesitant or had a lot of doubt about speaking up because maybe you were new and you didn't know what they were talking about. And you're like, well, how in the world am I supposed to speak up and contribute and do the things that they've hired me to do when I have no idea what these people are talking about? So, what I'm going to share what I'm going to share with you today really came from that moment. I want to share with you an advocacy framework, 3 ways that you can speak up. And I'm not going to give you necessarily specific tips because I think one of the things that's really important is that we learn how to speak up in our own unique ways. I know that can be really tempting to speak up and say things so that you sound more like your boss or an admired coworker. But sometimes I think that actually creates a little bit more of a doubt loop, right? Because we never develop our own authentic style, which is really important. And that's what I want to walk you through today is 3 ways to speak up with more confidence in a way that feels authentic to you so that no matter the situation, whether you're getting ready to present something virtually or in person, whether you're getting ready to give hard feedback, or you're maybe even sitting in a new job wondering how you can contribute, I want to give you a way that feels authentic to you. So the first question is, what do I know for sure about me? And so if you're thinking, I want you to think in your mind about something that you want to speak up about, whether it's, again, the hard conversation, the presentation, the idea. What do you know for sure about you? What unique skills do you bring to that situation? So reflecting on my own story, when I wanted to speak up, when I was new to that organization, well, what I knew for sure about me was that they hired me because they thought I would do a good job, right? Like those were the facts. Those were the cold, hard facts. What skills did I have? Well, they hired me because of my human resources and talent management expertise. And so when I really started to think about, like, why am I here? Well, they hired me. Those are the unique skills that I have. And I could ask myself the third question, what do I stand for? Well, I stand for the people in this organization. I'm here for the people experience in this organization. And so when I could kind of stop focusing on everything I didn't know, that authenticity question, what do I know for sure about me, really helped me focus on me. Why am I there? What do I stand for? What unique skills do I bring to the table? And it's like, oh yeah, I'm here because of those things. The second question is this. It's an alignment question. It's, what do I value in this situation? Okay. What are my core values? Another way that you can ask this question is, how do I want people to view me? Do I want people to view me as gregarious and talkative and extroverted? In my case, no, because I'm not gregarious, talkative, and extroverted. I am a huge introvert. I wanted people to see me as approachable, curious, and thoughtful. And so that started to guide the way in which I could contribute. So if I wanted to be approachable, curious, and thoughtful, I wasn't going to show up like my more extroverted boss. I was going to show up in a way that aligned with those values. And that helped me ask questions in the meeting to help start conversations about people and talent management and what was happening. I got curious by asking questions, and that was the way that I could contribute. I think the other thing that's really important, and I love this one, especially if you're going to give hard feedback, is remembering that there are two people in this conversation. I know when I get nervous, like I'm nervous right now, my heart is a little fluttery because I'm going to go speak. I always forget that there's probably going to be like 100 other women in that room. And we get so focused on our own internal nerves and our own internal drama and our own internal, like, oh my God, doubt, imposter syndrome, and all the things. Sometimes we forget that there's another person in the conversation. So when you have to have a hard conversation, maybe you have to give some tough feedback. Or maybe you're going to work on managing up by articulating some feedback or an idea to your boss. A great question that you can help have this conversation in alignment with your values is just to ask, what are 3 words that describe how I want them to feel? Because when you're giving hard feedback and you can start thinking about how you want them to feel, well, I want them to feel supported. I want them to feel clear on what's being told, but I also want them to know that that they're empowered to do something different. So maybe supported, clear, and empowered. Well, how would I have this conversation in a way that helps them feel supported, clear, and empowered? So question number 1 is the authenticity question. What do I know for sure about me? What do I stand for? Question number 2 is how can I say this in a way that's in alignment to my values? Either how do I want people to see me, or how do I want other people to feel? And then the last question is the action question. So authenticity, alignment, and action, right? None of this is good if it's just going to stay up in your head. So the action question is, how am I speaking up on what is mine to say? How am I being clear about what is mine to say? And I think this other final question is really empowering too for those folks who are like, I don't have a problem speaking up. I have a problem being quiet. Maybe the better question is how am I clear on what is not mine to say? Because in those moments, in those meetings, it can help us use a really discerning ear to say, is this something that based on what I know for sure about me and what's in alignment with my values that I should contribute here, that I should ask the question, that I should volunteer the idea? Or is it like, I don't think this is mine. I actually have a client who is quite extroverted, and she said, my problem was I was speaking up on everything. And because I just love to talk and interact. And so what would happen was, she's like, I would take all these things back from meetings, and I was so many to-dos just because I couldn't keep my mouth shut. Of course, she said this in a lot of good humor. So she said, this advocacy model for me did help me speak up with confidence, and It helps me get clear on what is not mine to speak up on. This is not what I stand for. This is not in alignment with my unique skills. And so, I can stay quiet on this one and let someone else take the lead. So this is a 3-part framework to help you devise a plan on how to speak up with more confidence and how to say hard things in a way that feels unique to you. So authenticity, what are your unique skills? What do you stand for? What do you know for sure about you? The second one is say it in alignment with your values. How do you want the other person hearing it to feel? What are 3 words that describe how you want people to view you, and how will you craft your message in alignment with them? And then the third one is action. How are you being clear about what is yours to say? Or maybe how are you staying silent on what is not yours to say? So authenticity, alignment, and action. Write your message, practice it, hitting all 3 of these buckets, and hopefully it will give you a way to speak up that feels authentic to you. So you're not trying to always copy someone else's style. I really want you to ground yourself in something that feels like it is you, and that you can use this and rely on this in any moment that it requires you to speak up. So if this is something that you really want to develop, I work with my women leaders a lot on this in my women's leadership program. So on March 29th, my spring cohort begins of my Clarity and Confidence Women's Leadership Program. This has been for corporate women leaders who want to get clear on their leadership strengths at work, want to overcome doubt, want to amplify their voice, want to learn how to really trust themselves and make clear decisions and take those brave next steps at work. I cap it at 15 women. So this is an intimate experience of women leaders across the country, so we can come together in community and really build that clarity and confidence and leadership skills that's needed in today's workplace. We meet every Tuesday for 8 weeks, from March 29th to May 17th at 12 p.m. Central on Zoom. And I'll drop information on where you can find it, but it's on my website at kellyraythompson.com. And the list of topics are on that we cover are on the website, but amplify your voice is absolutely one of those topics. So if this is something that you're interested in, just send me a DM. I'd love to talk with you. We have 6 spots left. It is $6.99, and there are payment options available and VIP options available. So I'd love to talk with you more if using your voice and being more confident at work and really discovering what your leadership gifts are. I'd love to have you. So thanks for joining me today, and I will see you next Tuesday.